Hey guys, I figured for my first video I would upload my 20 gauge TSS turkey round that I use for the year. Something I started doing a few years back. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy the extra time it takes. I enjoy the reward at the end when you get a spring gobbler and it's with a load that you loaded up yourself. It's something that's not hard to do. It saves you quite a bit of money in the long run. The stuff isn't cheap to go buy it. You know, I think the cheapest you can buy this stuff is 50 bucks a box for 5 of them for a 20 gauge. It's expensive, but I mean, when you look at all the BBs you have into a 20 gauge, number 9, it's pretty incredible. But I guess we'll start it off with what I use and where I get my supplies from and all of that. So, most of all my reloading supplies come from Ballistic Products or Precision Reloading. My shot comes from a few different places depending on who has it in stock, and right now the stuff's kind of hard to come by, especially number 9s. I usually buy it in the off season, so that way I have plenty of it. I mean, this is 5 pounds. It should last me a while. And also when you order your TSS, whatever you decide to shoot, usually whoever you buy that from will give you load data for a few different rounds. They just ask you to keep that to yourself, and I respect that, and that's what I do. So, and then once they give you that load data, it's for you to decide which one works best for you. I mean, I've gone through a few different loads and found which one shoots best on my gun. It might be different for you, so it's for you to figure out. But I'll show you a quick process of how I do it and what I use, and how you don't need to have everything that other people have to make this work. To start it off, you have your 20 gauge haul. You know, it's a 3-inch 20 gauge haul. You get it from Ballistic Products. You get 100 of them. I trim off so there's a 1/4 inch left, and that way I'm rolling a 1/4 inch down. That works good for me, might be different for you. You know, that's just my opinion. But to trim that, I made my own haul trimmer. It's just 5/8 dowel rod with an X-Acto blade and a drywall screw. So you end up taking your 5/8 dowel, place it down into the haul, downward pressure, and smooth right around with it. Just watch your fingers. And then you can go around a couple more times and get it finished up. So, once your haul is trimmed to the length that you want it, you can go ahead and place that in your haul crimper. You can go ahead and grab your shotgun powder that you're using. Turn on your scale. I just use a digital scale from Hornady. It works great for me. And you go ahead and get that set to what your load data calls for. And you go ahead and pour that into your haul. I tap it around, make sure it's nice and flat in there. Up next, this load calls for a over the powder card. You can call them nitro cards. Go ahead and place that into your haul. And this is where sometimes they'll slide on you. I take my 5/8 dowel and go ahead and place that right down in there. Get nice and tight. So now you have your powder and you're over the powder card in there. Place that back in the haul crimper. Next, grab the wad that you're using. Some come pre-split, some don't. These ones don't come pre-split, so I bought a wad splitter off of Etsy. It's a cheap thing, and it comes with 2 slits, 4 slits, 6 slits. So you go ahead, place that in there, and do it to your desired length. Press it back out. Make sure the pedals open up. They do. Go ahead, place your wad into your hull. Next comes a filler that goes inside the wad. Some call for cork fillers or different ones. This one is a felt spacer. It's a 28 gauge felt spacer, so it fits into a 20 gauge hull. I'm going to place that into your wad and press that down and seat it nice and tight. So now in your hull you have your powder, you over the powder card, your wad, and then your felt spacer in there. Next is a shot here that you want to be careful with. Turn your scale on, zero it out, and then you pour your desired amount of shot that your load data calls for. Obviously an ounce and 5/8 goes in here and gets roughly 710 grains. There we go. So have your ounce and 5/8 shot. That gets poured into your hull. So now in your hull you have your powder over the powder card, your wad, felt spacer, and your shot. One of the last things you add is your buffer. I got this from Precision Reloading. It lasts quite a while. This stuff bounces all over the place, so. And again, you put in what your load data calls for. A little much. Pour it back out what you don't use. Check it, and you're right there. So you want this buffer to be spread out evenly throughout your shot. Some guys use the dental vibrators, and they work great. I just haven't purchased one yet. I just do it all by hand. I'll pour half of it, then go around and flick the hull and get it evenly dispensed throughout your hull. So I'll pour half of this in there. Push that down, go around, and pour the rest of it in there. Go around, tap your hull. Till you have about a 50-50 mixture on top. There's that. And place that back into the hull crimper, close it gently. The last piece that goes in there is your over the shot card. Go ahead and place that on there. This is yet again where I use my 5/8 dowel. I'll push that in there nice and tight. Make sure it's seated good. Something you want to check too, because sometimes they will be uneven. You know, some of those, your shot gets pushed up in one corner, so that's something you want to keep an eye on. So then there it is. That's ready to be roll crimped. Just as a reference, this whole box is all done up for this year. These are like your finished product of the crimp and everything. There's different crimps out there. I started with one from Precision Reloading. It works. I invested the money on a GAEP roll crimper. I think it does a great job. It's worth the money. So we'll go into my reloading room and go on the drill press. Well, now we're set up in the reloading room where I have my drill press. This guy's a little overkill, but it does the job nice. I have it set down to 600 RPMs on, I believe, along with that GAEP roll crimper. It does a great job. But one of the first things I do, especially since you're only rolling one, if you're doing it and doing 10 of these or 5 of them in a row, it would warm this crimper up. So I take a old hull that I have, I'll put it in the crimper, and I'll warm up the roller with this hull. Just put some light pressure on it, hardly any, just letting that get warm is all. It helps do a nice crimp at the end. That's warmed up. Go ahead and take your load that you made up, place it into your hull crimper, and put some light, let it warm up a little bit, and put some light pressure down on it. This is all a feel thing to find that sweet spot to not over crimp it or under crimp it. Slight pressure. You can feel when that hits. You can do a little shake, nice and tight. So it's nice when you do 10 of these in a row because it's nice and warmed up and puts a nice crimp. So I'll clean up the top of it. And then something that I saw Dave Owens years back, how he finishes his when it's done. Take some of your girlfriend's or wife's nice clear nail polish and just put a dab on top of it to help possibly help it waterproof it. And after that, your shell's all done. So it's pretty easy, pretty quick to do, 5, 10 of these with some buddies. Like I said, it's rewarding at the end when you get to shoot a bird with these. But when I'm all finished, I'll put the date on this, and that way I know the batch I made and when I made it and how old they are and all of that good stuff. So I hope this video helps somebody. I know there's a lot of them out there that probably are better at going more detail than this one, but this is just a quick video to show you how easy this actually is, save you some money, and make it a little rewarding in the long run. Good luck this spring, and hopefully I have some more videos for you coming up soon. See you guys.